bit more open to come into poses like dancer's pose and king pigeon. Someone wrote to me recently on the video, which I've linked in the description box below, and they were like, yeah, right, I'm working my butt off to get into this bind and it's just not happening. So I thought I'm gonna teach you a really super cool variation with a strap, so if you feel your shoulders are just never gonna get there, you can still practice the pose. But then also I thought it would be really nice just to share a few stretches, different things that you can do to get the body ready to get a little bit further, and hopefully you'll progress much quicker. So when you're ready to learn all these amazing tips, then keep on watching. So the important thing to remember that when you're learning how to grab your foot behind your head is that it's going to be a lot harder if you're learning to stand on one foot whilst you're doing this. So I always think it's best to learn it when you're in pigeon pose. So let's do that now. I want you to grab a strap and make a loop at the end of it, and then come into pigeon, and then I want you to bring your loop around the top of your foot. Now this is the important part. When you start to bring the shoulder forward like this action of my elbow pointing down to my elbow pointing up is one of the most important rotations you can get in the shoulder to eventually grab the foot behind the head. So this is what I basically want you to use the strap to achieve. And what you can do is when you're not really feeling anything, you go a little bit further with the hand closer to the foot so you can get that rotation. Now don't do it so much so that it hurts, just go to the point where you're like, oh yeah, I can really feel something happening. And then once you've got the elbow pointing up, take your other hand and grab as close to the other hand as possible so that both hands are holding onto the strap. And then as your flexibility increases, see if you can start moving your hands bit by bit closer towards the foot. Now, if you're doing that in standing on one leg, awesome, you can do the exact same thing using the strap. But I thought what would be really nice now is just to share with you a few cool stretches that you can do to get your body ready to one day hold your foot easy peasy. So the very first one is one I actually learned doing handstands, but I thought it translates even better into this pose. And that is you're gonna bring your hands together in a prayer position like this, with your elbows bent 90 degrees. And then you're going to place your elbows just on a surface like a couch or a chair. And then you want to feel as if your hips are being pulled backwards and your chest is being pushed down towards the ground. Now you'll see the shape of my arms is exactly the same shape as grabbing my foot behind my head. So that's probably one of my favorites. The other one I really like, and probably a lot of people overlook this, is that you need to stretch out your pectorals. Because you know, they think shoulders all the time and they actually forget that the pectorals are a major muscle which will keep the flexibility of the shoulder limited. So my favorite way to stretch it out is to line my tummy. And then what you do is you stretch one arm out in line with your shoulders, bend your knees, and then use your other arm to just push your back towards your straight arm. And it's really important that if the shoulder rolls in, you're not going to feel the stretch. So you've got to keep the shoulder rolling backwards all the time. And then the other important thing to remember is that your pectorals are very complex in the sense that they go in a big fan all the way across the front of your chest. And if you don't stretch your arm in varying degrees, you're only going to be targeting a certain level of those muscle fibers. So what I like to do is I do this stretch with my arm stretched out, but then I kind of play around with where my arm is. Like I'll shimmy it a bit higher. Ooh. And you'll see what I mean when you come into it. It's quite intense. The other thing that a lot of people don't think to stretch out when they're doing this pose is actually your hip flexors and your quadriceps. Because they think, oh my goodness, if only my arms could go further back, I'd grab my foot. But think about it, if your foot came closer to your hands, then again, you'd be able to grab your foot. So my favorite hip flexor stretch is coming up into a kneeling position with one foot forwards. And then if you just go forward with a big arch in your back, you're not really going to feel the hip flexor. So this is the very rare time that I'll ever tell you to do this, but lengthen your tailbone down. I prefer S shape of the spine normally. But then as you start to push your front knee forwards, you'll feel a really great stretch on the front of the hip. And then what you can do is you can grab your strap and you can start mimicking the exact same thing as your king pigeon and your dancer's pose. You loop your strap, you get that shoulder twisty thing to happen, take your other hand and see if you can grab hold of the foot, and if that feels too much staying behind you, then just hold on to the strap and pull the foot in. And if you find that the strap, you don't really need it, you can just grab hold of your foot and pull your heel into your bum. The whole idea is that you're stretching out all the front aspect of your body, and the more flexible all of that becomes, the easier it's going to be to grab the foot behind your head. And have fun practicing that. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember to subscribe if you want to have more amazing videos coming your way each and every week, teaching you how to advance your yoga practice. I can't wait to see you on the next video. Until then, love you guys. Bye!